So, hi everybody, and welcome back to Minka Guides. This month, we're talking about how you can grow your ENM community or your non-monogamous community. And I am so delighted to have my friend and fellow ENM Fam London co-founder here with me today. Welcome, Missy. Tell everybody about yourself.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Awesome to be with you. So my name is Miss E. I am longtime ENM, probably since high school. However, only really coming to identify the language and community with that in the last probably 8 or so years. But I've been practicing without knowing it, and sometimes miserably for much longer since my teens. So it's been really, you know, really important to me to be able to find a sense of community, to find a sense of identity, to find others who I can really understand, like, oh, wait, there's this thing, and I'm not just terrible at monogamy or relationships or a total dick, but
Exactly,
I
yeah.
actually have this other way of relating. And I think because it's not a normalized way of, um, it's not a social norm. You never hear about it. Nobody's providing models or examples of that. So,
Mm.
so that's a little bit about my background. My pronouns are she, they. Identify as bisexual, queer, gender fluid, um, and a variety of other wonderful rad things. But I'll save that for when you come to an ENM Fam event. Hopefully, some of you who might be watching.
Yes, exactly. So the purpose of this chat is to talk about ENM Fam London, which is coming up to its second anniversary this month when this video comes out. But also, we're kind of creating a resource here because we want to share the knowledge of how people like Missy have grown this community over the last 2 years. So if you're someone who's thinking about starting an event in your local area, we're hoping that this will provide some insight into how we've managed to expand and grow this event into something that attracts how many people to each event now?
I mean, we're pretty steady at like 200 to 300 at each event.
Yeah, and that happens
So
every
yeah,
2 months
pinching
now?
myself.
Yes.
I don't think we expected that when we started it. However, it just
Nope.
goes to show like what's possible when people that they
Exactly.
will
Exactly. So, I want to give you kudos for where kudos is, should be given. Is you are the person who came up with the idea of calling the event ENM Fam, and I
come.
wanted to where did that idea come from for you?
I mean, I'm a community builder in my professional life anyway.
Mm.
And I think, understanding kind of human behavior, what brings people together, what builds sort of social capital. And it is like really about, a sort of marketing. And it's not about
Mm.
marketing for the sake of marketing in like a kind of gross sense, but really thinking about what is it, the image that we want people to feel or sense. And you need something that's going to be really catchy. And I think at first we were calling it like non-monogamy drinks or non-monogamy social, something like that, which is great. Like it does what it says on the tin. But it was like, I think that all of us as founders like really had like a much greater sense of like what we wanted to build, who we wanted to attract,
Mm.
and like the ethos that we wanted to be the driving force behind that. And for me, when you think about, how do you treat your family? How do you relate? What do you contribute, bring, build, connect? And, it was really about kind of creating more of a catchy sort of phrase that we could use that would like
Mm.
get people's attention and allow them that sentiment to resonate like really authentically.
Yeah.
And I think that for me was like Ian and Fam was what I wanted, because I wanted people to come and feel like they're a part of something, that this isn't something that you come and you take from, or that you do, or that that you experience, but that you are a member of, that you are a part of, that you are important to being here. You are why we are here.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for my own ego or, I mean, part somewhat myself, but like as a member of the family, right? Like we're taking care of each other. And I want
Exactly.
people to step into that space with that headspace, that you're coming and you're going to be welcome, that it feels like a big family reunion every time.
And
And I
it,
think
it
we do. I
does.
think we've kind of landed
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And people started talking about the fam straight away, like, and talking about it as their fam. So, like, honestly, that was such a great, like, community building element to it right from the start.
Yeah.
So, well done on that.
Yeah.
And what
And
do you
it's
think?
very chosen fam, right? Like that's kind
Yes.
of what it is. And I think that was like when we first conceptualized talking about let's do this thing, it was about, hey, like, how are we with the people that we hang out with? What does that circle look like? And do we have spaces that feel and look like that? And there wasn't any. And I think that again is that chosen fam vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. So, on top of like that excellent concept for the name and how that brought the sense of community together, what do you think else, like, we did at the start that made people start consistently turning up, like, every 6 weeks in such huge numbers? Like, we're talking at the start, like 200, 300 kind of people just suddenly coming along.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had a really fantastic like artist. I forget.
Yes.
Do you remember their name?
My goodness, I'm
Link
having a
let's link
Tony.
it let's link it in the bio, because
We will. We
honestly
will.
I 100% like credit
Mm.
that
Yes.
first imagery as
Yes.
well, again, like with the name, even though we didn't have that name in the beginning, but to
Mm.
really let people know like what this was. There was like this
Yes.
great sort of cartoon, like drawn
Yeah.
imagery that,
Illustration. Yeah.
yeah, which was amazing, because like I felt like everybody who looked at this picture of people relating and hanging out could see themselves, or at least this was a picture of like the community that this chosen fam we all knew and had but weren't
Mm.
finding in the non-monogamy space. And I think
Mm.
that was like a really big part of people going, wait, oh my,
Yeah.
like it just looked really different. We had trans, there was, hairy legs, there was,
Yeah.
it's just like all body positivity. It was just
Yeah.
like anything and everything that
Yeah.
we wanted to create in this diverse, the diversity of an inclusive space that we were hoping to create, that we felt in our chosen fam. And I think that image captured people's attention immediately, because you don't
Mm.
see that right off the bat for a lot
No.
of events. And while we
Yeah.
have changed over to like an ENM Fam logo, I do credit that in the beginning
Yes.
to
Mm.
probably like when we weren't known, to
Yes.
helping people be like, ooh, I want to go. Like that
Yeah.
looks like a space for me and that I want to be
Exactly.
in.
Mm.
So I think that was a really big one. Like I think is still really important, and something that we continuously do is like having a little bit of like a grounding session. Like it's kind of like a speech session. Like I don't mean to be corny about it or waste people's time to like have this sort of like be center stage. Like it's not even about that. It's really about, I want people to understand the ethos and feel something every time they come, because when you feel something you keep coming back. And I think if you just have a space and you just have a social and people come, like, yeah, they might feel something if they connected with people or not. But if you set the tone and, we really speak about why are we here? What are we hoping to create? Like, making people feel seen and a part of something and appreciated and valued, but also setting the tone for, hey, this is not a space that you just come and, take from or enjoy or experience, but it's something that we're building, and that your participation, presence matters, and what you
Mm.
bring just being here matters. You
Mm.
matter. And I think
Yeah.
when people feel that and know that, then there's a different intentionality that they bring to this space, which just sets a nice vibe, that fam vibe again, of like really intentionally relating, intentionally trying to connect in a way that isn't like cruisy. It's really about,
Yeah.
let's be part of, let's build something. We don't have this space, and let's do this together. Because I alone, as a team alone, like any one of us, like we couldn't do it. It's not about us. It's about like we all have to show up for it to be sick, right?
Yeah.
So like I need
And
people to feel that part of that.
Yeah, and just to jump in quickly, for anyone who hasn't been to an ENM Fam event before, like I know that the format's relatively simple, but run people through what to expect so that they know what that kind of
Yeah.
looks like.
So, we, have like people at the door, greeting at the door. We have volunteers who are, first of all, we're all volunteer. And it's not to say that every event has to be like that, but we are, again, as part of this community ethos, it's about giving back and what everybody brings to the table. So it's not for profit. We're not trying to make profit. We might charge a little bit to cover costs, but we donate all the proceeds back to a cause that's important to the community. If we do have any extra, or we invest it back into the event, we have these volunteers there who have, again, showing up to donate their time and energy to making sure people feel comfortable, greet people. If there's people who maybe feel a little awkward or looking a little bit lost, that can all, that they can like really reach out and try to find those people, help introduce them to people they know. So we're really active in helping connect people if they don't know people, and sort of creating that, yeah, again, warm family reunion vibe. Then we also have like, again, like maybe like an hour in, like a little bit of that intro grounding speech, and sort of talking about what it's all about, because there's always going to be a few new people. And then we usually introduce like an icebreaker activity. So we always come up with some way that helps people to, you know, um, sort of break the ice, and like I think we started with like bingo, but we've had like a variety, it could be like two truths and a lie, and like inviting people to challenge themselves to do like meet five new people in that way, not people so that just is a conversation starter, because I'm super ox, like I don't do well in big groups, but like that gives people permission to come up and talk to somebody new. Everybody knows that that's going to happen and is part of that. So it kind of breaks down those like cliques and social barriers, and gives you an opportunity to kind of naturally ease it. Oh, that's sick. You hear somebody talk about something cool, and you could just naturally flow from there. I get stuck so often, like never getting to my fifth person, because I have these wonderful conversations with all of these new people along the way. Um, and then I think, and we also like set up signs everywhere. We take over a pub. We take over their toilet signs, gender neutral toilets. Again, like sort of really creating a space that people feel comfortable with. And then we also send out feedback forms. We do it a bit less now that it's like up and running, but that was so huge to us in the beginning, because it's like, this is for us by us, right? So if something's not working, or you have a great idea and we didn't think of it, like please, like let us know, because to the extent that we can, we want to try to adjust it and make that
Yeah,
fam vibe, and make it work for everybody involved. And I mean, you're
yeah,
never going to please everybody all the time. It's really hard, especially when there's such limited options for spaces that can accommodate that, or willing to accommodate it. Like we still have problems at our venue with noises being too loud, the music being too loud, which can be really difficult for neurospicy people, and
yep,
and we always feel like terrible about that. We try, but I think that that's the thing, like where is your intention, and you can
exactly,
just do the
exactly.
best that you can. And we also like create like an area where a volunteer will sit, so people know that they can come there and hang out and get away, or meet people if they're like super lost. So that's another sort of thing that we do. We have armbands so that people are like really, anyone who's like volunteering with the event, people, they're easily identifiable as well.
Exactly,
So yeah,
exactly.
all of those things have been sort of the different things that we do. And then we also have like the ENM Fam calendar.
Yeah, so I was just going to
Um,
jump in and ask you about that because, the feedback form was obviously a really good tool for kind of helping grow the event. But obviously, since we set up the event, the community has grown beyond even our event, which has been
yeah,
amazing. So, what are some of the tools that you use to kind of grow that beyond that?
yeah. Uh, I would say number one tool is empathy. So like, no, but like 100%, like the reason that we have the calendar is because I was like, what do I want? Like, put
Mm,
yourself in somebody else's shoes, and being new to London and not being able to find my community and struggling for so long, and like going through
Yes.
so many different crowds and scenes and things, and just, just fine. But like, I wasted a lot of time, like in places that weren't quite, what I was looking for. And,
Mm.
I was like, God, like it'd be so, and it's such a big city. It's so hard to know where to go, where to start, where are my people, what can I try? And there's no like one stop shop resource for that, especially in a
Exactly.
big city like London. So I was like, you know what? Like, let me, it's just like kind of an idea. Like, hey, I found this like calendar, actually the polyamory calendar, polyamory like calendar app, like where you could, share schedules. And I was like, oh, there's, it's a public calendar
Yeah.
option as well. People can join the calendar. And I was like, let me just like start finding all of the events that I like to go to that I know are sex positive, body positive, ENM
Mm.
related.
Mm.
And let's just enter that all into one space so that if people have those questions, like, where do you go? Like, and it's all because I'm
Yes.
super anal, like color coded. So it's like, this is a, you know, a social, this is a ENM specific event, this is an other community friendly event, educational workshop, sex
Exactly.
positive space, things like that. And so
Mm.
they're all kind of there.
And then other people from in the community have gone on to create their own events related to the community.
100%.
And so
Yeah.
that's on there. So people can find, what is there, like a vegan potluck and a book club
Yeah.
and a
And
poker
roller
night and
skating.
roller skating
Rock
and all
climbing.
of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah. And that's
exactly.
something we've really encouraged, because I think, like, we had really deep conversations about what it is that we are willing and able to offer as a volunteer service, right? Like, I don't have
Mhm.
all day to like do all of the things that the community might need. So we decided from a very early stage that we would be that echo chamber, that we would be that promoter, that we would be that connector, and really kind of try to serve as that glue, or that, um,
Yes.
yeah, way for people to figure out what they wanted to do, or and things. So the calendar came about from that, again, with like the grounding speeches. We always say, like, hey, like, if you don't want to come all the way to this part of London, like, create your own event. Like, we are not the end all be all. Like, if there are so many events that nobody attends ours anymore, then we've done our job. Like, I don't have any
Exactly.
ego in this game. Like,
Yeah.
I just want, non-monogamy to be normalized, and for people to
Yeah.
easily find people that of like mind that they can relate with, find support from. And
Yes.
so, yeah, so we encourage, people to do that, to think about what would you like, and like, we'll put that out in our mailers, we'll put that
Mm.
out, like, if there's new things coming up on those grounding speeches, we'll let people know, like, hey, there's this stuff. And
Yes.
yeah, be as much of a support as we can. To I want a million of these socials, like,
Yes. And
whatever
you
people
see
need.
exactly. You see that on the Instagram account that you have as well, is that like you're constantly promoting. So there have been other people from our community go on to
Yeah,
create other kind of E&M polyamory events in London, which is amazing, which is,
100%.
as you're
Yeah,
saying, what we wanted. And, where on the Instagram, you're always kind of shouting out those events. So it's very much
yeah,
like all about that. So that's incredibly well done. And you also, just to touch on that about the calendar, if anyone's looking to find the calendar, I assume you can find it through links on the
yeah,
Instagram.
yep.
Yeah. And then also there's all the details on Minka Guides, Polyamory London. There's the full details about how to find the calendar, how to join it, all of that, which is also a helpful resource as well, which you helped contribute to as well, I have to say. Like the
But
person
it's
in the
coming.
know.
Honestly, but like, it's just been like growing and growing, like the number of events, the number of things, the number of people willing to like now step out and like, hey, there wasn't this thing and I'm going to go and do it now, and so I'm going to create this other kind of event. Like, I should update that for you.
Yes,
But
yes,
that's what's great, right? And like, that again is like something that, yeah, like we try to promote, like, through
mm,
our Instagram page, to bring
exactly,
more attention so that those people can be successful.
exactly. And do you think, looking back now at how you've grown the community over the last 2 years and how successful it's been, what is there anything you would do differently? Like, has there been specific challenges that you've faced?
I mean, to be honest, it's taken on a life of its own. Like, I think
Mm,
from the very beginning, like, we just didn't expect it to be this big. And I, I don't I wish I could say that like there was something that we could have done differently, but like I'm still pinching myself that whatever the hell it is that we are doing seems to be working.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly.
and and yeah, I mean, I think the key things that I think the reason why it has worked is because we knew our strengths, and we, when you conceptualized like, hey, like we should do this, it was like, who's a promoter? Okay, and that's
Hmm.
where you got me. And like, that I'm going to be good in front of a crowd, and that I'm going to be
Yes.
that like outgoing person. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like who are the different people? That you're like planny fanny, and that you can like do all the comms and do all of that stuff.
Hmm.
Jax as well is
Yeah.
amazing because she's similarly like very on the promoting side and has a whole nother community, and
Absolutely.
has been running Black Polyamory Hub, um, and so is able to tap into that community and really bring that into it. And so I think it's just like that was the intentionality. It's like, what does our chosen fam look like that we're not seeing at any event,
Yes.
and who are the right people to represent and talk to that group of
Mm.
you know that group of people to further like sort of inspire them to join and want to be a part of this. And I think that being authentic the whole time, like we have never tried, we are 100% ourselves, 100% our personalities in every way. And I think that people want to be a part of that and what we have and what we are, because we are
Mm.
just us, and we
Yeah.
very humble, but equally human, flawed, yeah, vulnerable at times, like.
Yeah.
And I think that resonates with people. And so, even if you were going to, it doesn't mean you have to like have as big of an event as we have, but it's like, who are you, or who do you have around you? What are you trying to create? And who is the most authentic and like proficient sort of representative to take on that lead, to be
Exactly.
that person, right? If it's, you're super introverted, then great. So like maybe you want to do something with introverts. Like, how do you speak to that group? Like, how do you stay authentic to yourself? I think where things might get awkward or not work out is if you're stepping outside of what is truly authentic to who you are and what's
Yes.
comfortable for you. And I think from
And
the
yeah.
beginning, we've done that. Like you told me in the very beginning, you're like, on the day I cannot be the front man, I am going to feel anxious. And we're like, cool, we
Hmm.
got you, and
Yeah.
but you hands down, like, we're all about the planning and doing the comms and, stuff I
Yes.
couldn't think of. It's not my strong suit, and you just
Exactly.
gotta know that.
And which is why I think we always recommend people should never create these events on their own. I know that's harder in smaller cities because you might feel like, oh, I don't have other people that like want to kind of step up and do this with me. But honestly, like find at least one other person to run these events with you, because it can't
Yeah.
come down to one person, because not one person can do
No.
everything to run these events. And I
No.
think that's been the key to our success. But just quickly looking forward then, after we've just been through these 2 years, how do you see the community, not just ENM Fam London, but the whole non-monogamous community in London growing over the next couple of years? Like, what do you have ideas about what you would like to do? Do you have like predictions you'd like to make, things you'd like to
I
see?
mean, I just see it like really becoming like more and more talked about, normalized. I mean, you
Mm,
can just see that in the number of like different kinds of events, the number of talks. There's some great like open relating like therapists who are coming forward and being really like active in the community with a voice. Um,
mm-hmm.
and I think that's really great. And again, like all of us are really like stepping up and like giving back. Like they all contribute and like give like freebies to our community when we have raffles or we do like fun nights or donation spots. And in that way, we're promoting them as well, and and they're helping to support our event and our community. And so I think, yeah, it just seems, when I came here, it was so hard to find her. There's maybe like one or two little pocket events, and now it's like maybe it's like when you look for something, you find it. But I do just see
Yes.
so many people really coming up and talking about it. Like I can now talk about it like in my workspace, which I don't
Yes.
think like was possible like
No.
5-10 years ago. People would have
Oh
been
my
like,
God.
what,
No.
you know what I
No.
mean?
Yes. Exactly. It would
And
have been
if
considered completely like
yeah,
taboo. Yeah.
yeah. And I feel like, more and more people are coming about, and we have a lot of like for better or for worse, like TV shows about it now. And, but again, it's like it's starting to become normalized and sort of in a mainstream kind of dialogue. And I think the
Yes.
more that we can do that, the more that we can create space for that.
Yes.
And just be unabashedly open and unashamed. Like, it's
That's
just
it.
like, look, I'm not coming for your monogamy, but like, did you
Yeah.
fall into it, or did you consider options and then choose it? They're very
Yes.
different things. And I think it's just about creating a space where people can feel, that there's an opportunity to at least step in and explore. And I think that's what the community building is about. Like, maybe it's not for you. Maybe you're new to this, but like, how do you know unless you come and talk with people and
Exactly.
meet others and figure it out how to do it? Because there is no manual. It's hard to find that, but I do see that growing. And I think
Yeah.
that would be another thing I forgot to mention, like very early on. Um, we did have some people just kind of like dropping into the events who were like not the one, and not the one in terms of like monogamous, but like kind of pervy and a bit, yeah,
Yes.
non-consensual, and it
Mm-hmm.
was not our ideal. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was that, I guess that would be one of the things that I think I would have done differently, is had our like code of conduct on the front end, having sort of our community values, our principles, and like, so that's just really clear up front on the front end. Like, we say this is not a cruise space. Like, you're not coming here to date. I mean, of course, loads of people meet, date, and have a great time. That's on you. But like, that's not the intention. Like, this is what we want to see. This, and setting the tone again further with, come and bring yourself, create other spaces. Like, think about what you are intentionally trying to create, and the connections that you're trying to foster, and be part of that community
Exactly.
building effort. And I think it's important to be transparent and clear about that up front.
100%. And on that note, if anyone is interested and you're in London, then it is this month, August, the second anniversary of ENM Fam London, which the Augusta parties are always the best ones. Like, it's the weather's good. There's
Yeah,
like 400 people in that beer garden. The music's
so
playing. The
sick,
vibes are
so sick.
incredible. So yeah, if you want to come along, I'm just checking, the date is the 10th of August. And if you check and there's not tickets available, always keep checking back, because people tend to return those tickets really up until that day. So definitely recommend checking that out. But Missy, thank you so much. If people want to find you online, how can they find you? But if you want to
uh
be found.
no, I mean, yeah, you can find me, but Insta just nuked my account. So let's
Oh, okay.
see.
What's
But
your
yeah,
new
so
one?
I'm like, what is my new one? Let me look that shit up. Because I created like four and they nuked all of them, and I'm like, oh man, like, what is it? Okay, now it's uh
Yep.
Miss period E period OH period my Miss EO my.
Oh, Missy, oh
um
my, there we go. But
yeah,
we'll
on
link
Insta.
everything, whether you're watching this on Instagram or YouTube or on the blog. Either way, thank you so much for sharing your insight, your wealth of advice, your experience, and how much you've done to grow this community. It's just phenomenal, and I'm just grateful to you, and I know loads of other people are as well.
Right back at you, right back at you. And yeah, I definitely, and a big shout out, because like, again, I could not do this alone. It's not about me. Like, you are such a huge part of this, Jax, Ada, and
Mm-hmm.
all of our volunteers. Like, incredible. It's just such a smorgasbord of amazing humans, and that's why this has been a success. It's
Exactly.
not down to any one person. And I think that is my future vision for this, is like, we really want to be, I don't want it to be a cult of personality for the founders. It's
Yeah.
about devolving more and more to the community itself. What do they want to see? So getting more volunteers in, asking them what they want, allowing them to set up sort of their own committees, contribute to setting what kind of vibes and entertainment activities go on, or icebreaker activities, and volunteer coordination and event coordination on the day.
Yeah.
So I think that's my vision for this as well, is that it's
Which
more and more
perfect.
run by more of us.
Yes, exactly. Because all we want to do is be a big, lovely collective fam. So shout out to our fam. We love you
Yeah.
all. And yeah, I hope you all have a great time on the 10th of August. I'm sending you my love. Mwah.
Bye.